Now when the 1,000 years have expired, Satan will be released from his prison and will go out to deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, whose number is as the sand of the sea. Our word expired in Revelation 27 is the same word rendered as finished in the following. And he cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal on him, so that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years were finished. But after these things he must be released for a little while. The word expired or finished is defined by Strong's as to end, that is, complete, execute, conclude, and discharge a debt. In Part 8, we learned that the little while refers to the last hour of 1 John 2:18 and the beginning of the judgment of the house of God. Based on this passage, after these things points to the seal and the restraint on the devil till the 1,000 years were finished. Our word finished is also found in the following. But the rest of the dead did not live again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. So, first question. If the 1,000 years are not literal, then what does it mean for the 1,000 years to be complete or end? The answer brings us to the fifth seal. Then a white robe was given to each of them, and it was said to them that they should rest a little while longer, until both the number of their fellow servants and their brethren, who would be killed as they were, was completed. Regarding the souls in the fifth seal who cry for judgment and vengeance, they are told to rest a little while longer until the number of their fellow servants and their brethren, who would be killed as they were, was completed. So it is that when John sees the 144,000, he declares, "I heard the number of those who were sealed." The word sealed is defined by 2 Timothy 2:19. The little while in Revelation 6:11 is synonymous with the little while of Revelation 23. This space of time incorporates the understanding of the finish or completion of the number of the 144,000. By all accounts, this seems to point first to the time of the early church and those who willingly laid down their lives for the gospel before the falling away began in earnest. Based on Revelation 27 and 8, Satan is released from his prison, that is, the bottomless pit. This is not a release from the pit itself, but a removal of the restraint preventing its fullness, that he, that is the man's sin, may be revealed in his own time. As we considered in Part 7, this bottomless pit denotes the carnal mind of man as described in the fifth trumpet. Please consider. Then the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fallen from heaven to the earth. To him was given the key to the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and smoke arose out of the pit, like the smoke of a great furnace. So the sun and the air were darkened because of the smoke of the pit. Then out of the smoke locusts came upon the earth, and to them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. They were commanded not to harm the grass of the earth, or any green thing, or any tree, but only those men who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. In Revelation 20, Satan is bound and cast into the bottomless pit. Here, the bottomless pit is opened, and the result? The sun and air were darkened because of the smoke of the pit. Then out of the smoke locusts came upon the earth, and they are commanded to only hurt those men who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. In other words, they cannot hurt any who are part of the 144,000. This being the case, we read, "Blessed and holy is he who has part in the first resurrection. Over such the second death has no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years." The darkening of the sun and air correlates with the falling away of the church, where the sun speaks of the glory of the new covenant promise of God, and the air speaks of the realm of men's minds and understanding. It is due to our lack of the true knowledge of God that we have managed to devise so many erroneous doctrines. This darkening also correlates with the following. When they, that is, the two witnesses, finish their testimony, the beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit will make war against them, overcome them, and kill them. The killing of the two witnesses correlates with those in the fifth seal who would be killed as they were. Note that the beast ascends out of the bottomless pit, agreeing with the opening of this pit in the fifth trumpet. The beast denotes the carnal nature from which the carnal mind operates. As noted, this beast will make war and overcome and kill the two witnesses, but not until they finish their testimony. This precedes and contributes to the falling away. Who are the two witnesses? They are not individuals as many believe. Based on their description in Revelation 11, they are the witness of the two covenants, of the law and the promise, embodied in both Jew and Gentile. The locusts of the bottomless pit represent the destructive effects of the carnal mind on the fruitfulness of God's people, agreeing with the cares and riches and pleasures of this life, which cause us to bring no fruit to perfection. Like the locust swarms that destroy crops important for our sustenance, so too the carnal mind succeeds in destroying the fruitfulness of God's Spirit. At this point, we must return to the understanding of the number of the 144,000 being finished, and consider a somewhat abstract idea. Note the following. According as it is written that, "A father of many nations have I appointed you," facing which he believes it of the God who is vivifying the dead and calling what is not as if it were. In his New Testament, Jonathan Mitchell renders the last of this passage as the one continuously making the dead ones alive and continuously calling the things not existing as existing. Do you see it? God calls those things that are not as though they were, those things that don't exist as though they do. Isn't that just another way of saying prophecy? It is. So we're told, the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. So what's my point? It's this. Based on Romans 4:17, and prophetically speaking, the number of the 144,000 is finished. However, this is not yet true in reality. In other words, there remain those who have been included since the days of Christ and the apostles and will continue to be so until the close of this age and the advent of the new age. There is a remnant in every generation. They are those who experience the first resurrection as the apostles did. This is why the rest of the dead basically do not live again until the 1,000 years are complete. The first fruits always precede the rest of the harvest. Despite the many claims to the contrary, we have not yet seen a significant baptism into death since the days of the apostles. As a matter of study, it is my understanding that the first resurrection is a result of the second death or lake of fire. The second death is the death of the egoic self, that which stands in enmity with God. The egoic self is the man of sin or lawlessness seated in this temple, proclaiming himself to be God. And the first resurrection? This is a true resurrection into the fullness of the life of the Spirit, the same thing the 120 experienced in the upper room. It is a death before death, therefore a resurrection from the dead as opposed to of the dead. The Lord experienced this first resurrection when he was baptized by John, hence the reason he could tell Martha, "I am the resurrection and the life." We've considered a lot of things in this study, so I will close at this point. In the next study, we will continue to examine our passages in Revelation 20. Thank you for being a part of these studies.